muted right now, so is it?
It's that thing is.
Oh, hold on.
Kathy?
Right, I welcome you to the family board. As the third line of Boulevard Fires and City fans. In Kathy Giordani, and this is Thursday, May 4th, 2023. And I just pretty wrong. So we'll start with, I will call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Florence, Dennis, Lisa, myself, and August. We'll start with public comments on non-agenda items. Are there any public comment on non-agenda items?
I don't see any hands up beyond minutes, but okay, Lisa Petrus.
Oh,
So-
Lisa,
See if they can.
Are you
hear us.
ready to? Okay. So I'm gonna be testing audio right now. Can everyone hear clearly? And Lisa, are you ready to take Lisa's hand for public comment?
I think you're still getting feedback.
It's
echoes,
because of.
And
yeah.
if the owl is speaking and both of your
Computers.
computer.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello, hello? Can anybody hear me? Says I'm unmuted, but I am not. Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you hear me at all? Can you guys hear me at all?
We can hear you, but
Okay.
it's like very low.
Oh, okay, I'll try to speak up. I'm sorry.
Please speak louder.
Okay, I will do my very best. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Give us a second, please. Give us a second, please.
Okay, how about now?
Before you move it a little bit, we'll turn it a little bit that way so that we can see. Oh, all right, well, we couldn't see it.
Yep, there we go.
Good, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Lisa?
Can you guys hear me now? That's better. I apologize for not being there, but I tested positive for COVID yesterday. So I'm
Feel
sure
better.
you didn't really want me there. So so I apologize, but I will be here and listening in. I know I can't vote, but I will be here and help in any way that I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Okay, we'll go on with public comments on non-agenda items. Barry?
There are other,
There are other people.
amendment
Oh,
and.
well, but
Can't leave the other one. I don't see why it can't take Barry.
Amendment, you've been unmuted if you have a comment, a general public comment.
No, Aaron, it was just to say at the beginning when I could hear you all, but I've been chatting with Audrey to tell her when I can hear you and when I can't. And now everything's working good. So
Okay,
we're good.
great.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, Barry.
Okay.
Brandon.
So,
Brandon.
so
Well,
I've been coming to these meetings for 17 years now. And I remember the planning staff, people that were the liaison with the president, you know, names from the cast, Priya, Courtney, Marianne. And it seems like in the last 2 years, items that are mentioned at the end of the meeting for new business at the next meeting are commonly, I believe, submitted for the next agenda and censored by the planning department. And in the past, I believe there was only advice perhaps given on an agenda item to the president. And there was a give and take between staff and the president for what that agenda item read. Now it's like an outright censoring. I don't understand what's been going on for the last 2 years, but there is a definite change in some coming from above in the planning department. And there is nothing in the plan that gives the power of editing and censoring a PRD agenda, you know, that is submitted by the president. And I just don't get it. And I think an investigation needs to be done and an answer needs to be had. Thank you.
thank you, Barry. All right, any other public comments?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
there's-
one hand, David. If you're ready.
What about
David
Brandon?
who?
And Brandon
Is-
also.
is
Brandon, okay, I'll.
Good
Brandon.
afternoon, everyone. DOT's here, Brandon's here.
All right, thank you, Brandon.
David, you've been unmuted.
Hi, Adriana. This is David Booth from Streets LA here, representing City of Los Angeles as well.
Street seller.
Please tell us.
Streets LA, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is that it? Any other agenda, non-agenda items, public comments? Guess not. Okay, then we'll go to number 3, communication, board communication. Nothing to communicate today. Staff communication.
Oh. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Staff.
This is Audrey with planning. Right now I don't have an update for the board.
Okay. All right. We'll just take a couple of these. We've had on our list for quite a while, intersection and improvements on Ventura Boulevard. And I know Lisa Petrus has been involved in 1 and 2, Columbus Avenue, Calhoun, Lamona. I guess she could still give a comment on that. Lisa, do you want to comment on Columbus, Calhoun, and Lamona?
Yes, I do. So I spoke with can you hear me, Kathy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I spoke with the city and it was, as we were told before, it hasn't changed, that there was a problem with funding now that, which I still don't understand, with asphalt. They need more asphalt for these ADA compliant curb cuts. I took a picture of the intersection at Lamona and Ventura, which is the one that I'm the most concerned about because we've had fatalities in that crosswalk. And also they when they started the work several years ago, they dug up a great big hole in the sidewalk and just left it. And it's right in front of the Chabad, and it's right at the crosswalk. So anybody could fall into it, and it's very deep. It's at least 2 to 3 feet deep, and it's about 5 by 5. It's huge. So they have the city, I took pictures and sent it to the city. They've added some more cones and barriers so that somebody doesn't fall in, but you know, that's been sitting like that for a couple of years now. And I have families involved in construction, and I was asking them about it, and they said, you know, once a permit is issued, if the laws change, whatever permit was issued, that should be good enough to go. So this ADA compliant stuff should have been good enough all along. We funded that years ago when the ADA compliant thing changed then. And now they're saying it's changed again. I mean, we could play this game for years to come. So I'm not quite understanding why suddenly there's even more of a holdup. This has been going on, you know, it's at least almost a decade, I think now. And anyway, my frustration is apparent, I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay. Did you want to say?
Can I say something
yes.
now? Lisa, was money taken out of the fund for that? I see Ventura at Woodman intersection, $1,099,000. That was for something else, I think.
Something else, Lisa, it was, we gave them, originally the money for these 3 intersections was from the state. It was part of a program across the city. I believe there's a dozen or so intersections. And then they stopped construction because they said the ADA compliant rules had changed, and these 3 particular intersections in our community were not ADA compliant, and they needed more money. So we gave them whatever they asked for. I forget off the top of my head, it's about $500,000 or so. But whatever they needed, we gave it to them several years ago. And most recently, within the last, I don't know, my timelines are terrible these days, 6 months maybe, they now are saying, oh, well, we need more money for asphalt. And when I spoke to the person responsible for this, he said they have found the funding for it, but it's still not being completed. So I'm just scratching my head.
Okay, well, maybe Mehmet has his hand up. Mehmet, do you have some comment on this intersection?
Well, Brandon, I think, has his hand up, and I think Brandon
Oh, okay.
can give the
Probably.
latest update.
Okay.
We don't see the list.
Brandon?
We don't see the list name.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I received an update yesterday for these locations. And just bear with me for one moment. And so the grind and overlay and asphalt work was actually approved, and it started yesterday. They physically started their work yesterday, and they plan on activating those 3 intersections within the next 2 months. So I hope that sheds some light on the Columbus, Calhoun, and Lamona at Ventura intersections.
Of course, it's when Lisa Petrus can't go out to be looking at it.
Nothing personal, Lisa.
I will be having a big party when these intersections, we're gonna have a ribbon cutting, we'll have Nithya there, and we're gonna be serving champagne, I swear to God. We're gonna
Well,
And some of your
we-
baked goods.
and my
We
big-
will, just in all, this is Mehmet, and yes, we will definitely want to do a ceremony for these 3 together. So once we start getting closer, the project manager and I have talked, and so I have a ping to check in with him in about a month, and we'll be in touch once that's ready. We'd like to invite everybody, so.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you so much, Mimi.
I'm so glad it's moving along.
Oh, I
Finally,
lost this off.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brandon. Number 2, let's move on to number 2, Woodman Avenue. There's been a change. I don't have any update on the change. I don't know if Lisa is familiar with the changes that DOT, I think DOT and Department of Public Works made on at this intersection. Lisa,
They pulled it, maybe Mehmet could speak a little bit more on it, but they
Yeah.
pulled, and we've asked for that to put the money back in, and I'm not quite sure why they pulled it, honestly, because the intersection really does need that right turn lane there. But they've decided that it doesn't, so that's not happening now.
Yeah, and the motion was passed, so hopefully the money's gone back into the coffers. And I am checking in with BOE and DOT on kind of the initiation of rescoping work. So I sent something to them last week and I just need to follow up. But then the intention would be to come back here once they have something.
Okay, okay, so as of March 31st, the money was not put back in.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So moving on to that. I'm not familiar with Havenhurst and Lameda Street. Brandon, are you familiar with that intersection?
I am not,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
We're
Encino.
still, Kathy, we're still in the, so we got funding from the feds of $600,000. And, but that's split between this location, these two locations, a retaining wall project in Sherman Oaks, and then another signal in Council District 3. So, you know, we're still talking with the CAO about how to make up the funding essentially. So I don't necessarily know yet how much we may want to basically ask to allocate from Ventura Cahuenga for this. So I think last time we talked about it a while back, I mentioned kind of the range of money could take depending on how much we got from the feds. So all that being said, after I'll connect with the CAO and try and get some more clarity on that, and then try and come to you in one of these next meetings if we need to set a higher allocation than what we had already. But having the 600 grand from the feds is good. So that's a good start, of course. So
Yeah, we would appreciate you keeping us posted on that.
yeah, we'll do.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to 4, and I guess 4 and 5.
Yes, reimagine
Reimagine.
Ventura Boulevard.
I'm sorry, Lori Felsen had their hand
Oh.
raised. in the last
Oh,
item.
okay. Lori? This is on Havenhurst.
Hi, everybody. Sorry to not be with you. Yes, these were two separate projects that Lynn Kaufman and I had suggested. One was at Lameda and Ventura, where there needs to be flashers, that there have been multiple accidents. And the other was to improve Havenhurst at Ventura to finish the arrow of the fourth movement. And I know that we, for Encino section, had money for one or the other. And then in the last 2 years, we've suddenly found out that they, maybe we could do both. I would love to see one or the other get done, since the PRB has money to do one of them. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lori. Okay, Dennis?
Okay, yeah, so for Reimagine Ventura Boulevard, I drove by last weekend and the traffic lights have been put up, but they're still not functioning. And so I talked to the council office, Jeff Jacobberger over there. He's kind of, let's call him the project manager for that, for the project. And he said that they expanded the project scope all the way over to I think all the way to Valley Circle. And because they did that, they're running across the ramp for the freeway. They're going past it, so they have to get a permit from Caltrans. And I suggested to him, I said, he said, doesn't think it's going to be a problem, because even though Caltrans sometimes is a problem, he said it won't be in this case. It's just a minor blip in the schedule. But I suggested to him, I said, if it becomes more than that, you may want to phase the project and work around that area and just avoid it. And so he said he would get back to me on that. So right now it's kind of in a pause. They've been doing some patching of some asphalt, and again, I think you're aware the handicap ramps have been put in, disabled access ramps have been put in, and the traffic lights are up on 2 intersections. They're just not functioning. So, you know, it's getting there, but it's on a pause right now. So that's where that is. The number 5, the median on Ventura Boulevard, just a reminder, that's there's a Porsche dealership being built on Chalk Hill. And part of the conditions of approval were to include a median in the middle of the Ventura Boulevard. But it also had a caveat in it that the project shouldn't be held up for C of O if DOT is having a problem with the median and those kinds of things. And that caveat is quite a caveat because they are having problems with it. And I talked to the council office on that one this week, Elizabeth, and I think she's listening in today. Maybe she's got more information now. But the last, so the last I heard, and we'll let her expound on this. The last I heard, they were looking at other streetscape improvements instead of the median, and they went to the neighborhood council and told them that, and they were supposed to go back to the neighborhood council. I suggested at this point that applicant, probably because it's in the public way, should come to the PRB. So that was my input, but you may want to bring Elizabeth on if she's got anything to add.
Elizabeth? Elizabeth, you've been unmuted.
Okay. Hi, Dennis. Hi, everybody. Kathy and everybody. So Dennis, yes, you're right. They're supposed to go back to the neighborhood council with an alternative proposal. You know, they're pushing back on the median. But I hear what you're saying about taking some leadership. Anyway, so I do have a call. I tried to get a meeting with the applicant this week, but she had a death in her family. So anyway, so next week, just so that we could get on the same page with her. I mean, I know where the community is with the median. That's obviously what everybody wants. So I don't know, we'll try to push it in that direction, but you know, they're claiming safety concerns. So anyway, at the meeting next week, I'll tell her to make sure Ken goes back to the neighborhood council with, you know, an alternative design or an update on the median. So hopefully, you know, in June, maybe.
So Elizabeth, you know what?
Yeah.
Am I okay to speak? I don't know if
Yes,
the
go
order
ahead.
of things.
Go ahead.
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
the one thing that would be great is if the consultant, Ken Frusman, if he could actually show us what his studies were that showed that it didn't work. You know, it's one thing to just like look at it and say, oh, it doesn't work. You know, it's another thing to actually do something and, you know, have some due diligence and prove to us that it doesn't work, you know, and not just a statement of that. And I don't know if I, you know, I was on the call for the plum committee over at, you know, the neighborhood council, but I was only on a phone. I was only on the phone. August is a member of that committee. Maybe he can.
Oh, right.
I don't know what was shown, but it's just, you know, accepting somebody's word that it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, August can comment too, but he, you know,
You've lost your audio, Elizabeth.
Did we lose her?
I lost her.
oh, I needed to go off mute. Yeah, I mean, Ken did bring drawings with, you know, the placement of the median in different places and showed the conflict with the existing driveways. And that was, I mean, that was what he brought. I mean, I think in his mind, he thinks that's sufficient, but, you know, but if, I don't know, if you want something else, maybe we can be specific, more specific in what, you should,
Elizabeth,
you know.
couldn't see it because I was on a Zoom and I couldn't see the
Yeah.
drawing going. So, you know, I'm not going to say that if he's already done that and it's already gone through the plum committee, that's another thing. It's just, you know, showing the other alternatives is probably the next step then.
Yeah,
Elizabeth,
okay, yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
I have a car dealership
median issue in my neighborhood as well. Is it
Okay.
just that the medians are making it inconvenient for the dealership to get cars across the street? Is that the bottom line on this issue?
In this case, no.
Yeah.
When
Right.
when Woodland Hills approved the project, they were required to unload and offload at the back of their project.
So it's by the
Plenty of space to do
freeway?
that. So they do not need the parking lane, or if there is one, or the center lane.
To unload inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what the justification is, but
It's,
Well, we'll have to hear
yeah,
from more.
we'll have to hear from them.
in their case, it's the major apartment complex across the street.
Thank you.
So August, what you heard at the Plum meeting, is it sufficient that they don't need to come to our PRB to, I mean, this is a public way
Well,
thing.
I need to know one way or the other whether we're gonna have them here, because I can't
Oh, you can't be the
participate
one.
in both decisions.
Right.
But I was not, impressed with the presentation. I won't go beyond that.
Okay. Well, we'll need some more information on this.
I'm sorry, other folks?
Okay.
I think she maybe wanted to comment on this, if you want to.
Lori Kelsey. Oh, Lori?
Lori, you've been unmuted.
I'm sorry, I think I did not lower my hand. If we can go back to the two Encino projects, when you're done speaking about this, I wanted to hear what Mehmet had to say about the money that was there from the PRB, because there was no answer to what I asked. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we might as well finish up on these things.
Well, so the only thing, I just want to make sure that, so going forward, my understanding would be that, we will not hear it at the PRB. It'll go back to the Land Use Committee of the Neighborhood Council with an alternative that, and that the median is not being pursued. Other alternatives, streetscape alternatives will be pursued and presented to the neighborhood council. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Since it's really not, it's a project, Woodland Hills project.
But it's in the public way. So that's the reason why it would be relevant for PRB. Okay.
All right. Okay, Lori wanted.
Mammoth,
Oh,
from Mammoth.
I think was the question, Lori, about the Havenhurst and the Lameda signals?
Yes, please.
Right, okay, so if what we still don't necessarily have ironed out is how we want to make up the short, so the earmark we got from the federal government was $600,000. That has to be, distributed between R2 signals on Ventura, signal in CD3, and a retaining wall, as I mentioned. We don't have a final way of how that will be split up. And once we know that, that would indicate, how much we would need to get covered through certain means. And from the perspective of the 523 fund, I think last time we talked, it was, there you could have a range of funding amounts, but you all, if I recall, have already made a commitment of around 160,000 in terms of the amount that you were committing. And don't quote me on that, but around the amount that you were committing for the Lameda Lameda signal that you then said we could shift this over to Havenhurst. So I think we are looking at a number between that and a higher number in terms of a commitment to make up the difference for R2 signals. Again, maybe the CAO thinks it's okay to use other sources of funding that we have available citywide for these signals as well. But, since these are on Ventura and they're Ventura improvements, we do have the ability to use some of these funds. So we don't necessarily know exactly how much we would want to use. If you wanted to be very rough, you could say divide the 600,000 4 ways, and that's $300,000 off the total cost of the 2 signals, which the total price from DOT from their updated estimate we got them to do last year was $564,000 total. So again, if you want to say if we're splitting it even, which I don't know we are yet, but if we were to do that, that would be $300,000 off that total, and then we would have the remainder to deal with through either the 523 fund or through other funds. So we don't have a full story yet, but I reached back out to the CAO to kind of get to a final point on that so we can come back to you all. But just one thing for timeline, we are in the design queue. So we're in there. We showed that we had the ability to fund these through the federal earmark and through the ability to fund through the PIA. So DOT placed us in the design queue. So we are good on that front, because they weren't really sitting in that queue until we could show that we had the money. So that was one positive development of us getting these funds.
Kathy, may I say something else?
Yes, Lori.
Thank you. I believe that part of the confusion of having the 2 intersections was that we started with Lomeda and Ventura because of the number of accidents there. And then that's for, I believe, LADOT turned down, to our knowledge. And then we came up with the idea of finishing the intersection at Havenhurst. And then I believe when we got switched to
I remember it that way.
Pardon me?
I remember it that way.
Yeah, thank you. So when we got switched to CD4 after redistricting, then all of a sudden, both intersections were being considered rather than one or the other. But I remember PRB having enough money to do one. And that's just my remembrance of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on. Okay, on B, on the 523, we're going to continue that until we have more information on that. We'll go on to number C, our patient. We have a presentation on the request by the village at Tarzana. I'm sorry, Sherman Oaks bid to allocate a total of $683,473 from Trust Fund 523 for 2 landscape medians on Ventura Boulevard. Van Nuys, I'm sorry. Both start with a D. All right. Okay. You want to give us the presentation, go over everything, what changes? You've already been to us, but what changes have you made since you last time you were here? Kathy, yes.
There is.
Would you like to come up?
Oh, okay.
And just to confirm, there isn't a presentation for the Zoom, or it's a verbal presentation?
We have,
Yes, we do.
we can do Zoom now.
Who is your person? Which one?
Rebecca.
Okay, so, Rebecca, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen.
You want me to still move up?
Yes.
Should I move up with him? Do you want me to move up with him? Since it's our
If you want to speak, please move up so that everybody can hear you, because I don't know how the speaker,
Okay.
sensitive it is, or.
Thank you for the opportunity of being with you this afternoon. We have presented this to you, I guess it was 2 months ago. But we have also addressed some changes, which I think you'll be pleased with. So let me just quickly say that these are 2 medians on Van Nuys Boulevard, south of the 101 Ventura Freeway, between Hortense and Moore Park. One median is between Hortense and Millbank, and the second one is Millbank to Moore Park. What we've added since we last
presented to you is this first page that you see here, which gives you the location of the medians. I think that one of the members said that that would be helpful, and we went ahead and we did that. Secondly, just to call to your attention under item number 1 of that first page project goals, we have added a pedestrian island and a pedestrian ADA apron at Millbank, which will be part of that improvement for pedestrian benefit. There was discussion at the last meeting that we had mentioned that there would be a benefit to the traffic in terms of making it safer for automobiles, because there's quite a few illegal left-hand turns from Van Nuys into the Gelston parking lot. So that median will help to prevent those left-hand turns. At the present time, there are signs that say no left-hand turn, but there are left-hand turns.
Yes, they're ignored.
They're ignored. So the median will prevent that from happening. And the second median between Millbank and Moore Park will have the pedestrian island. So that will be a benefit for pedestrian safety in that area. And we noticed when we were out there on a field investigation that currently, well, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but currently there is no ADA ramp. There's a crosswalk, but there's no ADA access because there's no ramp. So we're adding that also to the project. So if we look at the first page, we've shown some red arrows where there's illegal left-hand turns on the upper part of that image. And then there on the lower red arrow on the first page of that image, that's where the ADA ramp and pedestrian island would be. If you turn to the second page of your, you'll see the two medians, and the image at the top shows the pedestrian island along with the ADA ramp. And if you go to the third page, you'll see a blow up of that, and it'll say proposed ADA ramp, which you can see, and you also see there in the middle of the street, you see the pedestrian island. So that in case somebody can't get all the way across, they have a safer way to stop. When we presented this to you 2 months ago, we did not have the pedestrian island, and we did not have the ADA ramp. So that has been changed as part of this proposal. I do want to say that now we feel that there's a multitude of benefits for this project, both in terms of the safety benefits for cars and pedestrians. There's also some stormwater retention. There's carbon capture because we're planting new plant material. And we're also really enhancing the beauty of the shopping district in the heart of Sherman Oaks with these two medians. And we are also improving the wayfinding. There'll be a welcome sign as you get off the freeway and you're coming into Sherman Oaks, so that you'll have a sense of place for the part of the commercial district in Sherman Oaks. So I think I'll stop there and answer any questions that you might have.
Has DOT looked at your plans?
Yes. None of this.
Well, we had a meeting with Mehmet, and we talked to him about these improvements and what we were planning on doing. And we've also spoken to Tim Fremo in Los Angeles DOT about this. And we feel that with also the support, I did have some letters of support from the Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association, the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council, and from the Vision Committee, which is part of the Plum or Land Use Committee for the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council. So there's 3 letters of support, not to mention that the Sherman Oaks bid, obviously, which is proposing this project, is behind.
And you will, the bid will be maintaining it?
Yes,
Okay.
because we'll be maintaining it. Yeah, we understand that maintenance isn't included in,
Yes.
Well, and that's what we do now in the Ventura Boulevard meeting. We maintain it.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We hire, as part of where our budget goes, we hire a Street Plus team to maintain it.
Okay.
Know what they said last time.
Okay, Dennis?
Well, do you want to do public comment first before any of us speak? Because of what Janice said last time.
Oh,
Can you open that public comment now? And then we
Yeah.
discuss.
yeah.
So Barry has his hand raised.
Barry?
And then the people on the phone.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just was gonna say, you hope the median will prevent illegal left turns, because in Studio City, we've had more than one occasion where they still have driven across them and cost us thousands of dollars, more than once, thousands of dollars in repair. So you hope.
Well, when you get those big SUVs, Barry, they tend to want to go with it.
We had one that was totally mowed down. 5, they weren't huge trees. They were probably it's still this big, mowed them all down and kept going.
But
And it
it's
was an
only
SUV.
one, but you've only had one, so we, one time we could handle.
We also have another hand as well.
Okay,
When you're ready to take it, Barry, were you?
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Lisa, you have been unmuted.
Hi, thank you so much. I wanted to say that this did come before our vision committee and it was very well received, and I hope you guys support it. And it is, I watched the other day, people making left-hand turns, excuse me, coming in and out of that parking lot. It was just craziness. So I think this would really help cut that back and then also beautify it a little bit. And it is the entrance into Sherman Oaks coming off the freeway there. So I would ask my fellow board members if they could support this because I'm not able to vote today. Thank you.
Very good. You want anything to add?
I don't think
You have,
unless you have other questions.
Yes, could you, you mentioned stormwater retention, but I don't see any indication that where you're retaining stormwater.
Well, when there's rain, we're retaining that within the median. So that's stormwater
Instead
retention.
of
We're
like-
taking asphalt out
Yeah.
and it's not
So
a.
it's
it's not a-
permeable,
What I
permeable.
would say, it's
Yeah.
not a major
Yeah,
component, but it is a component. Every
I
permeable
would
surface
say
is a component.
stormwater mitigation and not retention. 'cause
Okay, we can
You're
change
not
the word.
storing it as in a swale
Well,
or,
there will be a swale, but it'll be a contained
but
island.
you're not taking additional.
Yeah, you're not taking
water.
it from the road.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We
will
wouldn't
there-
want to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
will there be any sprinkler system in the
There-
median?
There will be, these are all drought tolerant plant
Right,
material, but there will
But
be
yes.
a drip irrigation system.
Thank you.
Could you do the curbing so that it's able to absorb some additional water underneath?
I don't think so, because at that point in the road, it's crowned.
It's crowned,
And
goes the other
so
way.
the water is running
Yeah.
to the
Away.
side. It's not running into the center.
But when you're putting in the curbing, you're going beyond the curb. I mean, you're cutting the asphalt, so you could do.
Um,
I know DOT will get in the way.
The BOE and DOT will get in the way of that one. Because if you're cutting into the road, you're only overcutting in order to put in your curbing.
Yeah.
And then you're backfilling and you want to maintain that water flow away from that curb. So because of the whole crown of the road, so I don't
As
think
opposed to the outer curve.
that
No,
you can do that.
I understand.
We could look into it.
No, I mean, the real retention should be at the side of the road.
That would mean
That's for another project.
regrading the entire street.
Yeah, yeah, you don't.
So, you know, that's
Give it a
that's
chance.
too vast a project.
Too ambitious.
Dennis?
Yeah, so last time I mentioned, we just heard some median issues, right?
I did.
But that's not the only one. I mentioned the fire department. And have you talked to the fire department? I actually drove this street after you made your presentation. It's very wide. Doesn't seem like it's a problem to me, but it could be a problem for the fire department, because they want to use the middle lane when there's traffic jams. And they pushed back at us in the past. So have you discussed that with the fire department? Because we asked you about that last time.
Well, there are two medians and there's a giant, you know, they can drive right between them. Doesn't block them.
No,
No, the middle is
No.
blocked.
The middle lane, that's a turning lane, is used by the fire department when all the lanes are blocked up.
In a
So-
traffic jam.
We will discuss this with the fire department when we have
Yes.
construction drawings. The both medians, one's 150 feet,
Mhm.
one's 180. They're separated by about, I want to say about 250 feet, the two medians. So that there is room. I noticed there's parking on each side, as you know,
Yes.
and one side is even wider than the normal parking allocation. So I think there's going to be.
It's a pretty wide area. There's no doubt in my mind too. So I think if we make a motion to support, it would be with a caveat that the fire department approves it as well. In other words, you know, if we're approving some funds, the funds don't get transferred without fire department approval.
Not
Do you have the
Let me
name of
ask a-
somebody?
Let me ask
Or
a
not transferred, I'm
question
sorry.
about that,
Yes.
because I've done 3 other medians on Ventura Boulevard, 3 of them in Studio City. And,
When?
well, there was a fire department.
It's been a long time.
The reason
I'm
why
not-
is because these were,
I think it was
these were
before 10.
discussions during my Reimagine project. Where they were
Recently.
shooting down, which is just a couple of years ago, where they were shooting down the medians because of the possibility that the buildings could get taller because of development. And they needed not only did they need the 28 feet on each side of the median clear, they also needed the clearance in the middle of the street. When there's traffic
Well, we'll
backups.
go to the fire department, but you know.
Well, they
there-
have to, they can't get an
there's-
approval without the fire.
There's,
That's true.
there's always some department in this city. Some gorilla, whether it's the fire department or DOE. That will want to stop projects. I think the attitude in the city needs to be, how do we attain other goals? This is a goal for a more complete street. We're making.
I'm not arguing with that. I agree 150%. I'm just saying that when
Again,
we're saying, go ahead and spend some money, right? But when I've had experience where the fire department might be a problem.
Are you saying that before they spend money on more stuff, that they should go to the fire department first? Before
Yes,
they design?
Yes.
And
Lisa,
even
I
if we
think-
send, if you write a motion up and you put that in there, that's for you to be saving money is
I
really
think
what he's saying.
we would like you to present to the fire department before we make an approval.
Or
I think
can't you
that's
just
what
make the approval subject to?
you can't say.
No, but we don't want you to waste a lot of money if you're
Well,
going down a
doing
dead end.
working
But-
So let's
I
say
wa-
we do this. Let's say with these drawings, because the fire department can easily see what our goals are without full construction.
Right.
I agree.
They can look at that and we can get a letter back to the PRB with, I guess with their approval.
It would say
or
that,
with their, then we reviewed it and we don't see a problem.
That would,
Absolutely.
that would
Let me
be
just say
great.
something. You just heard us talking about our fund. If they take money and then we don't get it and it takes us forever to get it back. So that's partly what we're thinking of. Plus, I wouldn't want you to spend more money on putting anything together until you absolutely have the okay from them, because what happened from Studio City to now is totally different. It's totally different what their attitude seems to be.
And I really want to clarify with you, I support this and I will support it. And I think it's a great thing. I've driven down there. This would be a great improvement. We did the same thing over in Woodland Hills. We put a sign, welcome to Woodland Hills. It got hit by cars twice and destroyed twice. and we gave up after that. But the bottom line is, it's worth a try as far as that goes. I think that's a rare thing that happened twice, okay? But, so I really think this is a great thing. I want to make sure you guys understand that. I'm just being careful here. With my experience, the fire department can be a problem.
And
And you know, there's always problems with departments. I agree, yeah.
But it could be worded subject to, and we have on the other meeting on Ventura Boulevard, we have a stone monument. We haven't had a problem with
Right.
getting.
They don't even
Because
allow
cars can't
stone
move
ones.
fast enough down
They don't
there.
allow the stone.
Which is good, nice.
They gotta be breakaway. They can't be stone.
Well, the new one can be
Yeah.
breakaway.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
A hand. Okay.
he was received, Elisa Pettis. Okay.
Let us go back.
They are, I'm sorry. Yeah, well,
So you already opened the public comment and closed it, right, for Barry? Speak. Do you want to open it again?
You want to open the public comment again, Kathy?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we
can
can
open
open,
it
yes,
first,
I mean, Lisa Petrus also spoke. And she wants to speak again,
yeah.
but things come up with them. We should hear what Lisa has to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa, you've been unmuted.
Thank you so much. So, I understand about the fire, department consideration in this, but I would ask that if maybe you approve it with the condition that it is approved by the fire department, but because I'm pretty sure you can't build this without, all the
Right.
I's dotted and
All the
T's
clearances.
crossed. So instead of having to wait and bring them back again, say that,
Sure.
DOT could answer this better than I could, but I would think that the city too can't just issue permits for this unless everybody's on board. So I would ask them to go ahead and approve it. And, if there is a problem, they'll have to change it.
Right.
So write it up.
Yeah, what I'd like to, what I'd like to
Thank
say
you,
is,
Lisa.
I'm the one who brought up the issue. But I am willing to make the motion in that regard, that we approve it, with the condition that the fire department has reviewed and approved it as well.
Okay.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
And,
again-
and the condition that no funds are transferred.
Exactly. I was
out
just
of the
about
523
until, right.
Until
Until
that
that-
happens.
Until all the drawings and the whatever.
Yeah.
But we also might want to add, that the business improvement district will be maintaining the
Median, that's
median
good.
as well.
Okay,
Will be in charge,
Right.
will be responsible for maintenance.
yeah.
Are we ready to make a motion?
I
For
am,
maintenance and insurance, I
It
assume
goes
as
slowly.
well?
We haven't
Writing.
Okay.
yeah, I know, sorry. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do this now.
Okay.
Well, I'll help you from what my notes are, but
Okay, the Ventura Coenga Boulevard Corridor Specific Plan Review Board
supports.
supports the project as presented.
I can add the project in a minute when,
Sure,
okay, go ahead.
yeah, for adding medians to Van Nuys Boulevard between Hortense and Moore Park. With the condition that,
Just a minute.
sure.
We're subject to approval.
Yeah.
No, one person
One second,
talking.
yeah, that's
You
fine.
can change
I
it later.
like, yeah, that's fine. Subject to the,
Subject to or condition.
subject to the, fire department review and approval
Okay,
and,
They want to
and,
include
and
amount.
the business improvement district.
wait. We need to put the amount in
You
the
have to
amount
put the
of,
amount. So you can.
What are
put
they
the
asking
total.
for?
683,
683,
473.
473.
From the trust fund 523.
Okay,
And that the business improvement district of Sherman Oaks will be responsible for the maintenance of said medians.
And do you have contacts in the LA Fire Department that you can share so we can know who to
And
contact?
I can get that, you know what, I'll have to go through my council office because they were the ones that were doing it when we were doing other,
You can contact.
Yeah, and then it
yeah,
should be.
yeah,
able
the
to
council
provide-
offices will help you
okay.
out.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
and it
sure.
should be able to provide it. Okay, so we have the motion on
Okay,
the
so,
floor. We have the amount.
I'll try to read it back. Tell me if it's not right.
No problem.
Okay, let me get the. I didn't write down all the words. Okay. The Ventura Coenga Boulevard Corridor Specific Plan supports the medians on Van Nuys Boulevard between Hortense and and Millbank.
No more.
Moore Park, Millbank spelled wrong, by the way.
I know.
Okay. Subject to fire department approval
For the amount.
for the amount of $683,473 from the 523 trust fund. And then I think we need a new sentence, and it would be the Sherman Oaks BID is responsible for the maintenance of the two medians.
You mentioned the.
Okay, we need a second.
We need a second. That
A
was.
second, Dennis?
Yep.
And Lawrence. Okay. Any?
So we need a vote. Any further discussion on this? Okay.
Okay, wait a minute, we didn't vote yet.
We didn't vote yet. Don't get too happy.
You'll supply us.
With champagne.
with-
Don't assume.
with-
Yeah.
You'll supply us with a letter from the fire department.
Okay.
We need to have that so that
Yeah.
we can let the
I
money go.
understand.
Until the money-
I understand.
Until no letter, no.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we have a motion on the floor. Florence, approved. Dennis,
Approved.
Lisa,
Yes,
me, Kathy, yes.
August Sawyer votes yes.
Okay.
okay, 5-0.
I would recommend you investigate the city's complete street design guidelines.
Yeah, the
to
whole
fight
new
the
thing.
Fire department with anything in there.
Thank you for.
For the safety.
Yeah, thank you. for the
Absolutely.
suggestion.
Pedestrian
Yeah.
safety
Thank you.
priority.
That was really good.
It's the 2035 plan, I think you're talking about, right?
No,
No.
no,
Not
there's
that
a-
one, okay,
No, no.
something else, okay.
It's called Complete Streets.
Well, it's in the planning department has a supplemental street design guideline, complete street. And then the Bureau of Engineering has the complete street design. And yeah, it's in the mobility 2035 plan.
And what about Brian?
Did
How about, and Brian Wilson, of course, is our DOT,
Brandon?
I mean Brandon.
Yeah.
Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys.
We wish.
I just want to.
I don't think
Not-
you'd want
not
there.
Insulting Brandon.
I've seen him recently in
Oh,
concert.
okay.
I don't think you'd
Now
want
that
there.
you mention it.
TV show that was just wonderful.
Anyway.
Yeah,
That's
All right,
That would
okay.
have to be good.
All right, well,
Thank
listen,
you.
thank you for coming twice
Thank
to us.
you.
It was a
Okay.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
it
luck.
did. It
Doesn't
did.
mention
Thank you.
medians, which is a problem for me, but
Mm-hmm.
anything that'll help you in there.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you,
work you've done,
everybody.
too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Yes, and you have been patient, you guys.
Yeah. Sorry
Well,
about the.
At least
hour.
with me. Anyway,
Okay,
Thank you.
Mehmet,
Okay.
all right, our next, we have actually two agendas,
Are both of these coming from Matt?
yeah, D and E. And I'm going to really turn it over to Florence. Because it's in Coanga Pass, but let me ask you one question, because the last meeting. You had question about Coanga Pass, and where it stops and starts and.
This is right smack dab in the middle.
Oh, it's in the middle, so it's not gonna conflict with. The
Nope.
specific plan,
No,
Okay.
I can't tell you how many feet, but it's right smack dab in the middle.
okay, all right.
I
I don't know
concur.
what we're talking about, so.
Well,
let's-
this
let's-
is.
I know exactly where it is.
This
So
is-
let's do a walkthrough. What we're dealing with.
Okay,
Actually,
Florence,
Is there a,
Mehmet is
Yes.
probably the better person to present.
Does he
than
have
I.
do we have a PowerPoint?
The best
Mehmet?
person is gonna, the best person is gonna be David. David's gonna have a PowerPoint, yes, so,
Okay.
that's helpful.
Oh, David
Uh,
who?
David Boo with,
Okay.
BSS, who introduced himself earlier, so, I'll let, our planning staff, let David, share his screen. And once that comes up, I'll kick it over to him, but, what we're talking about here today is, we kind of did a little, mini survey of the Coanga Pass, and we noticed that there were two intersections that had, a lack of ADA curb ramps, of any kind. And so
Well,
We lost
We
your
lost you.
audio.
yeah, I got promoted. So
congratulations.
we noticed these two locations that lacked curb ramps of any kind at some landings, and then also had deficient ones at any remaining spots. So that would be the Oakshire and then over at Broadlawn. So David is here with BSS to give a short presentation of what they could do as far as fixing that. So I'll let David take it away.
Thank you for that. Hi. Can everyone hear me? How's everyone doing today? Good afternoon.
Good.
Fine.
Good. I'll go ahead. I'll start just a PDF quick overview of what the two intersections that Manette brought up. First at Cohenga and Oakshire. I try to label it, where we propose these new ramps at A, B, and C. So like basically the north, mid-block corner, southeast corner, and then the southwest corner. And I'll go on to the next slide here, which basically depicts a plan view of what was existing, where it's not ADA accessible or it's not ADA compliant at this point in stage. And there is a crossing that's actually going on this direction where B leads to C. So just kind of give a proposal of what potentially can look like where this could be a one directional ramp, and this could be a bi-directional ramp, or to help cross to A and C. I'll show C in the next part. There is a existing crosswalk that's pedestrian, that's actually signalized. The issue is going from let me go back. Going from B to C, there is actually no ramp whatsoever by the area. So our proposal is to put a mid-block ramp that's ADA accessible. With that said, I'm going to move on to the next similar situation at Cohenga and Broadlawn. Again, I'm using the picture of A, B, and C. I'm moving on to the two ramps here at A, where they're supposed to be crossing to B, and at C, which is the mid-block across the street, which again is signalized. And B is supposed to be a one-directional ramp that leads to A. Okay. And just moving on to the crosswalk here to a mid-block that's not existent, it's not ADA accessible. So our proposal is to put another ADA accessible ramp in that area. With this ramp, the reason why the costs may be elevated in this scenario is that there is a driveway that's adjacent to that's really close by to a traffic signal, and there may be potential of some signal modifications in order for us to accommodate that proposed curb ramp. And with that said, that pretty much concludes my presentation here. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
I'd like to add to that if it may.
Go ahead.
The first intersection is across from a well-used park. And so that, that really would make things much easier for the community. Oakshire is an important intersection, is a main intersection, because unfortunately it is a cut-through street. But so having the crosswalks will make it safer for the community. So, and the other intersection at Broadlawn, the northernmost crosswalk is in really hazardous condition currently. So it needs to be replaced, absolutely. So these will make things much better for the past. So we hope that the PRB will support this. Okay. Dennis?
Yeah, are these crosswalks at traffic lights? Or
Yes.
are they mid-block or, I'm not mid-block, but uncontrolled or
They're,
they have traffic
they're
lights?
traffic signals,
Got
both of them.
Both of them have traffic?
Both of them have traffic
Okay.
lights.
Both of them, do. Yes, and they put pedestrian push buttons as well.
Okay. Any other?
That was it for me.
No,
Yeah.
public
I just wanted
comment. Skip that.
What?
Let's skip public comment. If there's
Oh.
any public comment? Ms. Barry?
I just wanted to say, I'm confused by this motion because the motion before this for Van Nuys Boulevard said to allocate the $683. This never says allocation, and all it says at the end is we are seeking PRB support. Does that mean you're just asking for the PRB's blessing? I don't get it. There's nothing in this motion that says you're asking for the money. And therefore, I don't think you can vote on issuing any.
Okay, this isn't the motion. We have to make a motion.
Yeah, this is an agenda description.
That there's a request for money. It's a
Support.
request for support.
Support, it may be financial as well as
I don't
philosophical.
know, the one before says allocate, and it says allocate $600-something thousand. This does not.
It's a linguistic option.
Yeah, I-
It's to us to make
Does
the
say
decision.
action item
Yeah, so we can make an
We're
action
okay.
item.
at the end.
Right, I'm
Yeah,
just
but
gonna
it
use
doesn't say the
condition
action to
and
be
change.
allocating money.
To get the
in the
fire
But
agenda.
department,
support, you can
And
support
change the money
something
in the streets,
financially, yes.
than you, that we just used.
Okay,
I'll make
What's that? I'm sorry.
any other, Lawrence? No?
So I'm gonna use the same motion. Closing the public. comment.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
could Yeah.
open public comment.
well, I can, okay, I'll open if there's any other, anybody from the Coanga Pass area that would like to make a comment. Anybody? Nope.
Not seeing any hands.
Okay, all right, then I will make a motion. Okay, we'll close it.
Can I make a suggestion? That's fine with you. Do it, but we use the same one that we did before, changing the addresses.
Sure.
And the amounts and taking out the fire department.
Sure.
Okay,
So I'll do it. Lisa's going to,
because she won't be able to read what I wrote here.
And I may tweak it, but whatever.
Okay, yeah, so, yes, and I'm just gonna change some stuff. Okay, okay.
Well, we can.
Petrus.
Oh, Lisa?
Yes, hi. Thank you. I just wanted to say, I think this is a good use of our money when safety and ADA compliance is in the forefront of this project. So I hope we can support it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. All right,
Okay, so
Well, I'd like to,
Oh.
what's the status? I mean, if we were to continue this to the next
why would we do that?
Fine.
agenda to avoid any complaints, that it wasn't properly noticed.
How about,
It says action item.
this is action item and support implies financial.
yes, it does.
Okay,
I do want to point out, there's two separate items here, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
two separate corners.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
So,
Intersection.
yeah, so
Intersection.
two separate motions.
Well, not, I wasn't gonna
No,
make two
we had
motions.
two meetings before, so.
Yeah, but that was under one item.
yeah, this would be one, we would, the Streets LA would package, this would be one project, right, David? I think that's why we have them together.
one contract.
Correct. Yeah, we'll just lump them into basically doing a two intersection design in one project.
Okay, well, here, I'll try this. So I'm bringing it, Lisa Sarkin. The Ventura Coanga Boulevard Corridor Plan Review Board supports the Broadlong and Coanga, Oakshire and Coanga improvements for the ADA ramps. I don't have any addresses, so I can't put that in. And,
And there's the third one, right?
no,
No, that's a different.
That's
Oh, that's a
different.
different, different thing.
project.
Okay, got it,
We need that one to have.
got it.
okay. in the amount of $764,000 from the 523 trust fund. And who's going to be responsible for maintaining? Do we have that?
It's a crosswalk. there's
They're
no
cross-
name.
Okay,
There's-
so it's
there's-
not,
yeah.
so that's it. Okay. So that's
I
as
second.
much as we can put in. I don't have any addresses.
All right.
Okay, and Dennis?
Yeah, I'll
Dennis
second, yeah.
Seconds it. Okay. All right. Okay, let's have a vote on it.
Well, no other discussion now that we have the motion,
Well,
right? No
Yeah.
other discussion?
anybody?
You make the motion, so you will vote on it, and if you want, you can bring it back to discussion. But
No,
there's a
that's not
motion on-
Okay, that's not how I do it. Okay. So
What?
voting.
Voting. Okay, we'll start with Lawrence. Yes. Dennis,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kathy, yes.
August Stoyer votes yes.
Okay,
Okay,
Pretty straightforward.
thank you. 10 minutes. Okay, now E. Now we have.
now we're on to E, which is the funding for upgrading Ventura Boulevard, Ventura Canyon Crosswalk to a PHB Hawk. Okay.
Whatever that is.
This one's, I'll do this one. So this,
It's Mehmet. Sorry, you're talking Mehmet. Okay.
hi, it's Mehmet Berker from Council District 4. So this motion is, again, kind of looking at our signals now on Ventura. And we've had some progress. We just talked about it in this meeting. Hopefully having the 3 in Sherman Oaks done in the next 2 months or so. And we had Ventura Roads just open up, which is a rapid rectangular flashing beacon. Now, I would love that signal to be stronger as well, but that's a current LADOT standard, which leaves Ventura and Ventura Canyon. So this signal currently, and Brandon can correct me if my terminology is wrong, but it's an older style yellow flashing beacon. And we would like to make sure all of our signals are as up to date as possible. So to upgrade this to a full pedestrian hybrid beacon or Hawk signal, which is and I think you all probably are pretty sophisticated on this over time, the 3 beacon signal on the mast arm overhead, which has red flashing. So to upgrade to that, DOT has said that the estimate is around $175,000. And then I'm just looking at my last notes here. There's a draft plan for the improvement prepared, which is good, which means the work is, that design work is already ongoing. And DOT hopes to, if we could dedicate funding to this, DOT would be looking to get this constructed in fiscal year 26-27. So we know the timelines on signals, but I think the discussion I had with them so far was if we can dedicate funding, we can finish out the design and then move this into our work plan on a future fiscal year. So it's a relatively simple change. We at the office, we have gotten some emails from folks wanting, not feeling like this is enough protection. And I can definitely understand that given the old style that it is. So that's pretty much it. And yeah.
We have to go to public comment first.
Okay. Public comment. Okay, public comment.
Yes, there, Lisa's hand is up. If you're ready to open, comment on the side.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
The presentation's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I just, again, with safety is concerned on Ventura Boulevard, pedestrian safety really should be at the top of our list of where our money should go to protect people's lives when they're crossing the street. So I hope that we can support this, and it's not a huge amount of money, and it could make a big impact. Thank you.
There, Mary, go ahead.
I just was gonna say, I would hope CD4 will push for this upgrade on all the crosswalk signals on the boulevard in CD4. Thanks.